Welcome, adventurers. Here's what happened last time on the Incorrigible party.
Talked into aiding Clash in an ambush against nearby Neogi, before handing over the chestplate of Kalar. The party momentarily splits up at the Clashers' camp, each member learning something new about past events and about future outcomes.
And now, on with the show.
Having completed the deconstruction of their camp, an additional 10 orcs have assembled with Clash, Horik, Lushki, Shaft, Falzarin, and Mia. Shakara and Ulfa have not returned quite yet, but these orcs, they gather kind of in a loose formation. They're also in like winter garb and pack sacks on their backs. They wield a variety of weapons, most of them hanging at their side, axes and long swords. Two of them do wield short bows. And the bow wielders in particular, though, they do have a Neogi tattoo on their forehead, very clearly displayed. Shaft, you recognize many worn strips of old tribal colors from the Ablaks, Gorlok, and the Ukshad among them. Clash turns his attention to them.
We weather the climate of the mountains, as we always have done. We tame its terrain and make it our home. We make it our ally. We make it our weapon. One tribe, united to reclaim what is ours. Reclaim what was taken from us, from these Elis. What was taken from us by our past divisions and petty territory squabbles. Correct what we allowed to happen for the Rockshard, the Tuk-Tuks, Vishlunk, the Ablaks, the Gorlok, and the Ukshad. We will take back the Vorgorag and thrive once more.
And these orcs, they kind of all cheer and cry, raising their weapons up into the air. Shakara and Ulfa, you return kind of in time to catch most of Clash's little speech. And on your approach, Ulfa kind of gives a sigh. Clash gives this speech every time we go out. All this correcting the past stuff, I don't even know what it means. I just want to get to the killing.
Do you not care about the tribes? Or the orcs?
I mean, I don't think they should be, enslaved and stuff, but I want to kill some Elis.
Then let's go kill some Elis.
Ulfa and Shakara!
Yeah.
And the rest of you hear Ulfa's exclamation, and you're all finally rejoined. Clash turns, though, before you kind of start to head out, Clash turns to two of the orcs.
Zunding, Ugrul, escort the injured as far south as you can get. Away from everything, away from the fighting.
And these two orcs specifically that, Clash has addressed, they nod and they kind of turn to where that kind of triage tent was up, and they begin to help those that are able to walk. And again, you see the ones that Falzarin had inspected and Lushki had mentioned, they'll get up, when prompted, they'll get up and they'll move and they'll be able to walk on their own. But it's just like a blank stare in their eyes. They're just glassy-eyed, very unresponsive to most, to speaking to them, like Falzarin had discovered, etc. And essentially, Ulfa will take the lead. I mean, she knows where to go, and this little band now starts to head north, and she said it's about 3 miles.
As Ulfa takes the lead, I'm going to, at first, kind of keep up, but slowly kind of drop back from her, hoping that she doesn't notice I'm not next to her. So I'm going to try and get even with Shaft.
Clash is up with Ulfa as well, obviously kind of leading the rest of the orcs behind him. I'm not sure. Are you on Denny, Falzarin, or are we now walking with everybody else? Is Buttercup trotting along? Are you leading Buttercup? What's going on with these with the mounts you had?
I think Falzarin would have Denny return to his bag for the time being, and would just walk alongside the rest of the group, or walk amongst them, I guess.
So I guess if everybody else is walking, I'll be walking too, and Buttercup will just be with us in case we need her.
We could save our legs. I'll ride Buttercup. Come on.
If you want to ride Buttercup, go ahead. I'll be on the ground.
I'm going to be walking beside Clash. Or, sorry, not Clash. I'll be walking beside Horik. Sort of just a little bit behind who's leading. I'm not going to be trying to show the directions or everything. The orcs know their way.
Well, then I will drop back from Ulfa, and I will tap Shaft on the shoulder as I drop back and kind of motion for him to drop farther back with me.
Yeah, what?
Come back here. I need to tell you something. Hush.
Okay. I sort of drop back. What's so important?
Do not react.
What are you going to do?
I saw Killian in the woods.
Killian?
Quiet.
How did you know it was Killian?
He told me.
What'd he say?
He is working for Isabella. He is trying to get the armor.
That figures. Two-faced bastard.
Ulfa is working with him.
Oh, wonderful.
Their plan is to take the breastplate from Clash.
Is there a way I can find out where he's going to be?
I have no idea.
I have a gift for him. And I touch the hilt of my weapon.
I'm sure you do, but that is not our immediate concern.
No, but if he shows up, he's going to be my primary concern.
Will you let this interfere with anything else that needs to be done?
No, of course not. But if he's going to be hopping into the battle, I know he'll put a sword through me.
I think his plan is to hang back and let Ulfa do all the work.
All right, well, thanks for filling me in. And I'll sort of cut off and sort of walk back up by Horik again and strike up whatever conversation we were having as we were walking along.
And I'll continue walking.
Hey, wanted to let you know, Danzig. I found him. He's dead.
Hey, sorry you'll be losing you again there, mate. Tell by us.
Well, he took the wrong path, and it was inevitable. He was dead probably before I found him, in one sense of the word.
Horik doesn't quite know what to say. It's rendered speechless. You rendered Horik speechless.
I just wanted to fill him in on that. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah, and he kind of puts a reassuring hand on your shoulder. As you're traveling, Ulfa, look as you get closer, right? As your march kind of progresses, like she gets almost more excited, right? And she you can tell that she starts to pick up the pace a little bit as nobody really struggles, or at least everybody outside of the party. You're not struggling to keep up with her, and she's not full out sprinting, obviously, but clearly she's moving at this quickened pace. And the way you're traveling is you're kind of walking along the shore of this frozen lake, and it's a pretty heavily wooded area here that you're kind of zigzagging your way through the large growth of these trees, and you're basically at the base of one of the smaller unnamed peaks, right at the where it starts to slope up and gain in elevation. Who wants to roll me a weather die?
Bill does.
That's fast.
I haven't rolled one in a long time. Which one is that again?
I tell you, but you still get it wrong.
D6 it is.
A D10, please, good sir.
A 2.
By now you're nearing to the mid-afternoon, after having gotten up and made it to the camp and the brief time you spent there, most of which has been travel time. But now the fog has dissipated as the skies have cleared above, and it's still pretty chilly, right? But the direct sunlight certainly helps with that, and it's just cleared the fog completely. So you're not dealing with that obstruction anymore.
You're welcome.
As you advance, you see that Clash kind of puts a hand on Ulfa's shoulder, to steady her and calm her down, and he just kind of stops everybody. because you can now all hear the sounds of chopping wood and the creak and groan and crash of falling trees smacking into each other and hitting this dirt. And utilizing the cover of the forest, you are able to approach now more stealthily than you were kind of on your forced march here.
As we're headed there, I am going to cast Death Ward upon myself.
Yeah, you all certainly have any time to pop up any longer lasting buffs that you would want to prepare before getting the skirmish, because it's very clear that even as quickly as Ulfa was moving, although now she has basically at Clash's command, I guess, for lack of a better word, his band of orcs now, they're kind of like stealthy mode, right? So everyone is fully aware and moving as quietly as they possibly can.
I wanted to hold my hand up and say to Clash, and put my fingers to my lips. Stay close to me, and I cast Pass Without a Trace.
So that's 30 feet, right? 30 feet within you? Okay, so you're going to position yourself essentially in the middle of... Because there's about, what is that, like 17 of you moving now.
I'll try to, pull everybody as close together, pass it down, stay close to me. I will provide you some silence.
All right, well, why don't you all go ahead and roll me those stealth checks then as you're creeping forward. As I said, the coverage, the trees, like the wooded area is very thick, so it's quite easy to remain hidden and stay mostly out of view, but that also is kind of hampering your direct lines of sight as well. So to get a full kind of scope and picture of what's happening, you will have to get relatively close.
27 for Shaft.
Okay, so 17.
18 for Falzarin.
13.
So because there's a large number of NPCs, I'm going to just worry about the party stealth rolls. So no stealth checks will fail as a result of any... Just because the sheer number of rolls, inevitably, many of them are going to fail, right? So we're just going to kind of ixnay that and just worry about the party stealth. But as you approach, and you go ahead and you can all... I'm not sure how close you'd like to get. I mean, Clash is going to basically move within about 30 or 40 feet of this clearing that you can see starts to form. So this clearing, there's a handful of orcs here. They're busy pulling up the stumps of felled trees and collecting logs into piles. You see a number of them, 2 or 3 of them, that the orcs are milling around. These log piles are they stand 6 feet tall, lengths of 15 feet long, like tree trunks, kind of secured to sleds with just 2 lengths of rope at either end of them, just wrapped around them and the sled. Each of the orcs, they wield what looked like a simple woodcutter's axe. Nothing fancy, no type of advanced or advanced martial weaponry. These are more of those aged orcs. Their threadbare clothing and bare feet, providing them no protection from the elements. You can see the blue and black frostbitten flesh forming at the stub of amputated fingers and toes that starts to creep up their arms and legs, just eating away at ears and noses as they're clearly toiling and have been for a while in the freezing snow. Roughly 50 feet behind them, the snow kind of turns to more like upturned soil, and you can see long drag marks in the dirt lead to the escaping mouth of a cave in the side of that terrain that starts to rapidly gain in elevation, the side of this small peak. It's 20-foot opening, kind of leading into darkness, and above it, on the slope, you see a couple more orcs felling trees that are growing out of the slope itself. In addition to that, 4 Neogi. They look like they're grouped in two groups of 2, so 2 pairs, 20 or 30 feet apart from each other. They're close to the cave's entrance, clearly overseeing the orcs' activity. A little south to that, more orcs are stacking log piles, and a number of them look like they're shoveling snow into the back of a large open cart. Clash very quickly starts giving hand directions to his band of orcs, and See about half of them split off and move kind of north and up through the trees to where the elevation starts to slope. Ulfa and Lushki keep with the party. So right now, yeah, there's still quite a bit of you kind of huddled here. But Clash, in as low a whisper as he can get,
Remember not to kill the orcs. Render them unconscious if you must. But the targets, you know what they are, the Eelies.
What's the plan here, Shaft?
Does it look like, let's see, I only see 4 Neogi. Maybe we can circle around down the southern side here and sneak up behind them. If we can not be seen.
Mia, let me on, Buttercup.
Okay, like, you want me off?
Yes, you have more ranged attacks than I do.
Okay.
Does it look like there's a way we could sort of circle down maybe, 100 feet down into the forest and the southern side and sort of navigate our way around to the western side where the Neogi are?
there's ample tree cover. While they've clear cut quite a number of this area, quite a number of trees in this area, there's plenty of coverage, again, to kind of loop down and around for those that want to try to circle around to the western side of the cave entrance.
Yeah. So I look over at the Clash and Ulfa and go, "You want to kill some Eelies? Come with me," and sort of head down to do that, to circle navigate around there.
Okay, yeah, Clash and Ulva will absolutely accompany Shaft. Is the rest of you?
Oh yeah, I'm sticking close to the stealth aid.
Falzarin, I think, is going to continue down the path of the witch and summon Denny out of his bag and climb aboard.
Okay.
I was like, what's the path of the witch?
He's becoming
I don't see that on the map.
a spellcaster who flies on a broom.
So as we are going down along there, I'm going to try to keep an eye out. Does this look like they're just shoveling snow in the back of this wagon? Is there anything else odd about it, or is it just snow going in?
From what you can tell, it's just they're loading snow into the back of this wagon. Are you going to want to attempt to keep them in sight, which means you'll be sticking closer than the 100 feet of area between you and them, like you had previously suggested?
So how sparse are the trees? Are they? I mean, are we?
They're quite thick here, right? You're like in the
Okay.
in the middle of the thickest part of this vegetation before it really starts to thin higher up on the slope here. So you'll lose sight of them. You'll lose partial sight of them, I should say, because of the tree coverage if you go too far to try to circumvent them. So if you want to try to keep an eye out, then obviously your DC for yourself is going to be a little higher. But
Right. No, I think what I'd like to do is sort of, like a tactical maneuver, right? You sort of stop behind trees and then run about 10, 15 feet, stop behind another tree, sort of give the wave to the others to come up. And if the trees are pretty tight and sparse in the area, then we can get a little closer. But if it's thinning out, where it looks like there's going to be a little more difficulty to jump from tree to tree, then I'll back off.
okay, I gotcha.
What do they need all this snow for?
I don't know.
It's weird, right?
As you're circling this activity, you're witnessing, like you say, tree to tree, kind of quick spurts of movement. Again, as quietly as possible with pass without trace. Eventually, this wagon does get filled with snow, and two of the orcs begin, kind of throw their shovels in the back of it as well and start to pull it towards the cave opening. And all throughout, again, you're just still constant chopping of wood and crack of timber falling. I would say it takes you, again, if you're moving fairly slowly, you could take a solid 10 minutes to kind of loop around and position yourselves where you want to be. And at this time, the Neogi are staying pretty close to the cave entrance, right? Obviously, they don't wear any winter gear themselves, so they're not entirely suited for this climate either. But obviously they're not frostbitten like these orcs are.
Are they moving about, or are they sort of in a position to sort of overseeing what's going on?
Yeah, no, they're hardly moving at all.
Based on what I see on the map, they look like there's quite a few orcs around each of these Neogi that are in the forest area, and the other that are sort of more out in the open would be a little more difficult to get to. So I think I'll talk to Ulfa and Clash and say, there's a pretty good chance we're not going to be able to get to those Eelies unless we, do something with the orcs. More than likely, they're going to attack us. We can try to keep from killing them, but no promises.
All right, Falzarin's going to speak up a little bit. Shaft, I think I've got a bit of an idea. Once we feel like we're in position, one of you give me the signal, and I'm going to use Denny to get myself a vantage point and try and attack or maybe suppress these Eelies a little bit and give us a chance at taking them out.
How are you gonna do that? What are you gonna do?
Well, I have a couple ideas.
And they are?
Do they make noise?
This is concerning.
I mean, if you're gonna say fireball, I think we should talk about this. That's what I want to know.
I think the jig is going to be up once I put my plan into action.
All right, let's get in position. And I point up to point up to the circlet. Go. Let's get in position. Hit the circlet. Then, can you take out all 4 of these at one time?
Well, I don't know if I could completely take them out, but I think I can at least give us a good start.
Yet he doesn't tell us what he's exactly going to do.
I don't think he knows just yet.
Okay, well, I've got stuff I could do too. Gosh.
Friggin' jerks.
This is not supposed to be this complicated.
Everything's always more complicated than what it ends up being.
It really is.
Trust us.
If they don't move from where they are right now, it's hard to see from here, but I think I can probably deal some damage to all 4 of them at once. I don't know if it'll be enough to kill them, but it should hurt, that's for sure.
Okay, you do that, then we'll run in after you.
Do not kill the orcs, if it can be avoided.
I can try.
Okay, follow me. I'm going to try to walk up here on the western side, getting probably within 30 feet, if possible, of these 2 Neogi to the south of the cave entrance. As we're there, I'm going to be really quiet and sort of point over to Shakara and Mia and sort of point at the 2 that are by the cave entrance, and then give it a slice across the neck. Like, those are the 2 we're gonna focus on. If we all attack together, we can take them out quick.
I will nod at Shaft.
I'm gonna try to loosen some rocks and close the entrance to the cave a bit. Make it harder for more to come join the fight.
I think you might not need to worry about that, Mia. But we'll see what happens.
I look at Falzarin very confused since
Same.
he hasn't confirmed what he's doing.
This whole time, Ulfa is like that same thing she's doing before she got Clash's attention to tell him. Like, she's antsy, bouncing back and forth.
Looks like
her
that
feet.
soccer player waiting to get on the field.
Right?
Like,
yeah. Her maul in both hands.
I look at Falzer and I sort of hold both hands up like going, okay, it's your show now.
We're doomed.
Falzer nods.
Okay, okay. So everybody, give me a stealth check to confirm the surprise right now, and I'll let you know who is and isn't getting the surprise round.
18 for Falzer. Again.
29 for Shaft.
16 for Shakara.
It's 18 for Mia.
We can roll initiative. You all will get you have surprised the Neogi and the orcs here at the camp. So the first round of combat, they cannot take any actions or reactions. So essentially, this is your surprise round.
19 for Falzarin.
Same for Mia.
22 for Shaft.
18 for Shakara.
Dang, we do all right.
Shaft, you're first. You're at the top.
I'm going to ready my action, and after Falzarin casts his spell, I'm going to attack. I'm going to run up and attack.
Okay, you can really only ready the one action.
Okay, I guess I'll shoot my bow. After Falzarin does whatever he's going to do, I will loose an arrow.
Okay. Falzarin.
So I'm going to slowly start to go upward. So I'm going to gain elevation, and just before I like get any distance away, I'm going to say to the group, now just don't go too early. You'll trust me. You'll know when it's time. And I'm going to continue going up and up and up. Basically, I want to get high enough so that I can essentially see everything from above the trees. However high those trees are, you can kind of be the judge of how high I would need to be. And I don't really need to get any closer for what I'm planning to do. I can still remain more or less above the group, but I just want to go higher so I have a vantage point to be able to see.
The full extent of Denny's movement, 50 feet, will get you above the treetops.
So I'm going to go 50 feet up, exactly. And then I would like to, so if I understand it correctly, Leland, Wall of Force, an invisible wall of force springs into existence at a point I choose within range. Range is 120 feet. And basically, the dimensions it can be are, I can create 10 panels that are 10 foot by 10 foot. So I'm hoping to seal off the cave with the wall of force. And my understanding would be that probably I could probably do that without anyone noticing, because it is invisible. I mean, there is verbal components to it, but I mean, I'm pretty far away, and I don't think it makes any noise.
No, but like the casting the spell will not go unnoticed, because that's how spellcasting works. But again, it's not like the Neogi can take any actions or reactions. So if your concern is a counterspell, that can't happen. So you wall of force the opening of this cave.
Okay.
Now, although to your point, like your verbal and somatic components are noticed, but the effect of it, like you said, it's invisible. So they've heard you cast and do something, but whether or not they can identify what you've done, that's a check on their turn
Okay.
to figure it out.
But also, we don't know what he's done because he didn't tell us.
For the record, Falzarin was hoping that would have gone unnoticed.
You were hoping it would go unnoticed that we don't know what you did.
He was hoping that his second spell would be the thing that gets noticed by the enemies and the party. But anyway, we can work with this, I think.
So I'm aware that whatever he was planning to do, he has started. I'm asking the question because I'm going to loose an arrow, and I got to know if I know what happened. If not, I'm just going to continue to pull the string back, waiting for somebody else to attack.
I guess you'd know I cast a spell, right? Like,
Yeah,
if
you know he did something.
Okay, then I'll shoot into this first Neogi closest to the cave entrance. That's a 27 to hit. It's not been hit before, so it doesn't get Colossus Slayer, so that's 11 points of piercing damage.
Mia.
Okay, Mia is going to cast Destructive Wave. Okay, so I strike the ground, creating a burst of divine energy that ripples out from me. Each creature I choose within 30 feet must succeed on a con save throw or take damage, be knocked prone. So I'm going to move so that I'm within 30 feet of everyone. And they need to make con saving throws.
17, 10, 18, and a 10.
17 is the save DC.
Okay, so 2 save, 2 fail.
For those that failed, it's 30 damage. 12 thunder and 18 radiant, and then success is half damage. Those that fail are knocked prone as well.
Okay, well done. So this, what does this look like? This ripple in the air.
It's just like a thunderous, radiant, like energy.
Boom
Yeah.
in this kind of a brightish light as this area lights up around Mia, knocking Neogi 1 and 2 flat on their ass, right in the snow and the dirt. As the other two stay on their feet, and the rest of you kind of it just washes over you harmlessly as Mia is able to direct the harmful effects of it. Well done. Neogi 1 and 2 look very, very hurt. Yeah, it's Lushki's turn, but she's actually going to charge the nearest orc. Kind of in this copse of trees. She's got a round shield and her mace, and she just starts to club this orc. One swipe, she beams it over the head, taking it by surprise. Shakara.
So Neogi 1 and 2, the two closest to the cave, are on their butts.
That's right.
I think on Buttercup, I'm going to charge those two because I don't know that they can't retreat into the cave. So I'm going to run and attack Neogi number 1.
Wall her down. Get him while they're down.
While Buttercup is running towards it, I am going to say, Fuego, and light up my sword. Do I get advantage since he's on his butt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
24 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled 6s on all 4 D6s.
That's gonna
That
hurt.
was legit.
That's plus 10, so that is 24 plus 10, 34 points of damage.
Okay.
Don't use all your good rolls for
You
this little
gallop
girl.
up and just strike down Neogi 1. And some of the immediate orcs around you, including the one that Lushki has already clobbered, their woodcutting axes, like, they just kind of go limp, right? And they almost drop them, but they kind of fall at their side. And you see about 5 of them have just that catatonic look to them as this Neogi dies. Well, that was only one attack.
Yeah, my second hit is a 29. I assume that hits.
Yeah.
Frick. Oh, I didn't roll as well this time. 26 to damage.
Okay. That one's still alive.
I like this sword. Plus 4.
Plus 4 because of your aura.
Because it's melee damage. It went hard. I remembered for once.
Hey, well,
Good
you're...
job.
Good thing you didn't need it for that first one. Well, your fuegoed sword just kind of pulling in and absorbing the light and reducing it in your immediate area. Horik is on the same initiative as you. Seeing... I mean, what... He's actually going to start climbing... Would he do that? Yeah, he's going to start climbing the slope to get to the ones above the opening of the cave. Again, he's seen the effect of the orcs in the immediate area. He starts sprinting through the snow. It would be the Neogi, but they are surprised, so can't do anything. Clash and Ulfa are going to charge south to some of the orcs that are still in the midst of, everything's happening so quickly. They're in the middle of reacting to all this commotion that's going on.
I'm sorry. Sprinting through the snow, an unintelligible orc is on his way to save the day.
In a sleigh filled with snow.
You see Clash just opens up on one of these orcs with the flat end of his weapon, and one swipe just clobbers one, rendering it unconscious, brings it around and uncons another one. Ulfa's just bellowing and at the joy of it and swinging her own blade, no longer a light with the holy weapon spell. And then you hear from across the clearing the rest of the orcs. They've charged through and break the tree line into the stump-filled area to engage with whatever they can reach and get to. And we're back to the top with Shaft.
I am going to move up, or move towards the two Neogi to the south. I'm going to move up about 10, 15 feet. I'll pass one of the orcs that sort of has his axe down at his side. So I assume he's not going to attack me. And then I'm going to use a feature that I have not used before on my bronze-scaled scimitar. I'm going to cast Water Whip. Need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me. DC 15.
That is an 18.
Okay, so you passed. See, on a failed save, the creature takes 2d8 bludgeoning damage and is either knocked prone or pulled up to 25 feet closer to you. So, let's see, a successful save, the creature takes half damage. So let me roll this. That's 9 points of bludgeoning damage, so half that. And that was my action.
Balzer.
Falzarin is now going to move on to part B of his plan. And he is going to cast Fireball and try to catch the remaining 3 Neogi. And he will sculpt safety for, I think you should be able to sculpt safety for enough of the orcs within the sphere to protect them.
So are you trying to position the area of effect so Neogi 3 and 4 and the orcs are on the edge of it?
Yeah, ideally. I don't really intend to do damage to any orcs any more than I need to. Yeah, so like I think I can't avoid hitting maybe 1 or 2 of those orcs, but I can at least sculpt safety for them.
Okay, yeah, and then that positioning will hit all 3 of the remaining Neogi as well.
All right, so dex saves. Poor favor.
14, 12, and 16 for Neogi 2, the one on his ass.
Wow, that was an atrocious.
He's got the best decks.
Atrocious roll. So 22 is the full roll, and the spell save is 16.
Well, the one that passed, even at half damage, is fried.
Ooh, I think what do we call fried eel again? Unagi?
Unagi, yes. As
Yeah.
barbecue eel.
So Neogi 2 just roasts on the ground, and the snow around him just melting this entire area. The smoke, just this wash of water, revealing the dirt beneath, and the stumps and the few trees in its area instantly ablaze. You've now started a forest fire.
Oh no. Smokey's going to be so upset with me.
Mia.
Falzern, you don't say anything about the cave entrance yet at all.
I haven't, no.
Okay.
That won't come back to bite us.
Yeah.
Here's the way I see it. If any of the enemies try to run into the cave entrance, they're going to get there before any of us do, and they're going to come to a rude awakening when they try to get in. If anything tries to come out, it's not going to be able to.
I think what Mia would do without her knowledge about the cave entrance would be to cast Fog Cloud. So it's a 20-foot radius sphere, and I would put the point of range right at the mouth of the cave there, so that if anyone were to run out, they don't see what's going on and they're at disadvantage.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even without the knowledge of the wall, that will block line of sight from within the cave as well. So I think that's great. Mia, as you cast the fog, as it begins to form and fill up the area, you see it press against this invisible barrier right before it kind of shifts to fill its full radius, right? But you've seen something butt up against this invisible barrier here at the entrance now. So the blue circle is now fogged.
I think it would be it butts up against, but I think the circle wouldn't be covering Shakara. I would have had it centered just a little bit more up.
Well, unfortunately, without it being able to go into the cave itself, which...
Then it can't.
Right.
Okay. But that's it. Because I see the damage that we're doing to the Neogi already, and I'll just stay where I'm at.
All right, Shakara.
I'm going to charge at Neogi 3 and whack it with my sword.
Okay, so everything in that red circle on the map here is on fire.
Oh, it's still on fire.
Of course, it caught flame, yes, from the fireball. So what I'm going to say is it's going to act like a flaming sphere. If you end your turn, or if any creature ends their turn within 5 feet of one of these burning trees, not the stumps are going to be fine, but the full trees, you will take I'll take a dex saving throw to avoid damage.
So I will run up to Neogi 3, hit him with my sword, and then run. So I'm running past him, but I'm going to attack him with my sword as I run past.
All right.
17 to hit.
Yeah, that just hits.
28 damage.
Good hit.
Dang.
Still up, but very good hit.
Allow me to do the second hit as I go by, circle around him and then continue on.
You can break up your movement and your extra attack in any order you see fit.
Oh goodness, I thought that was a 1 for a second. It's a 17 to hit for the second one. 25 points of damage.
Okay, this is another Neogi easily destroyed. And again, just orcs kind of all over this clearing now, just going catatonic, just weapons dropping at their side and no longer moving.
And then I will run out of the burning area.
Okay, I gotcha. So yeah, some of those orcs that we've moved to are catatonic.
Yeah, right into the other orcs that are not catatonic yet, that are still controlled by the Neogi.
Right, some still able to fight.
Didn't quite think that one through, did I?
It is the finally the one remaining Neogi gets to take its first turn, and you see it just takes off into the fog cloud, not hesitating. And of course, you all lose sight of it, but you hear after a quick second this bonk from within the fog cloud.
Is it a little bit of like a splat?
It definitely just ran full tilt into a wall, essentially, so it's certainly going to take some bludgeoning damage. So, Falzarin, can you roll
Let's
me
do it.
2d6 bludgeoning damage?
7.
Okay, well done. Ulfa and Clash now. You see Ulfa she's in a frenzy of battle here. Just cleaving. I mean, she's not killing these orcs, though. She is knocking them unconscious as she's doing her best to. But you see Clash's turn now to the orcs that have been broken from the control of the dead Neogi now. There's a number of them still like next to the burning forest, and those flames are quickly spreading. They're taking damage from the fire, but they're not reacting to it. They're not moving of their own accord out of the way. Clash, seeing this, is grabbing them. You see he walks up to two of them and literally is able to pick them up like almost the scruff of their neck, and an orc in each hand picks them up off the ground and moves them away from the fire. And that's essentially his turn. Back to the top of Shaft.
Okay, so I see Neogi number 4 scurry off into this fog cloud. I'm gonna give chase, run, straight towards the entrance, where I think the entrance of the cave is. I'm gonna get to the fog, about 25 feet, and can I see through it at all, or is it completely obstructing my vision?
Completely obstructed. You can see like 5 feet in front of you. If you're standing next to somebody, you'd be able to see them and fight them, but otherwise it's incredibly thick, like much thicker even than the natural fog that you had got caught in this morning.
Okay, then I'll move my last 5 feet into the fog, just sort of with my weapons out, sort of slashing in front of me a little bit.
As you do so, your weapon to your left, your weapon hits the wall of force, like it smacks against clearly a solid object in the fog. Obviously it's invisible, so you can't see this thing, but you've found it now.
Okay.
Falzarin.
All out of ideas?
Oh, before he goes, since I have some time to think, I'm going to go, since I'm not taking an actual attack action or anything, I'm going to go ahead and hit my circlet.
Okay. Good idea.
I'm just reading the fog cloud spell. I can't choose to stop concentration, can I?
Yeah, you can drop your concentration on a spell that requires it at any time you want.
Okay. I would like to dismiss it, but it's not my turn.
Again, at any if you want to drop it, you can do so. If you see Shaft move into it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that I would dismiss it then, because I want him to be able to see to attack. Sorry, I was trying to read it and understand it, so if that changes things, we could redo it.
So Shaft, as you walk into the cloud, Mia notices, and it's gone now, and quickly dissipates. So retroactively, if rather than activate your circlet, if you want to do something else, go ahead and do so.
I don't have the range to be able to get up to the Neogi number 4, so I will just activate the circlet.
And you see its little arms pressing against nothing. Like it's mime in a box.
Like a
right
mime?
now. Exactly.
Miming, yeah.
Miming Neogi, I like it.
Does he have a little beret on his head?
And it fell off in the fireball. It quickly consumed by the flames, unfortunately. That does bring us back to Falzarin, who's had plenty of time to stall now as we retroactively took care of some business.
I also just was talking and muted, apparently, so...
Oh, yep. We heard nothing.
I said lots of really intelligent...
I'm sure you did.
Okay, so now that Falzarin can see exactly where this Neogi ended up, He's going to hurl a fireball at it. Firebolt, sorry, not fireball. Oh boy. 12 to hit.
That is not going to do it.
Okay. Fudge. All right. That's it for Falsey.
Mia.
Mia's gonna chuck her hammer at Neogi number 4 here.
Hammer time.
It's hammer time. Okay, I rolled a 1, but that is an 11 to hit.
Well, that's a critical fail. So
Yeah,
okay, so you throw your hammer,
right.
and it misses the Neogi, but it hits the wall of force, and it does not come back to you. It just clatters to the ground. So your hammer is now laying at this Neogi's feet. So you will have to physically move there to retrieve it.
Well, I can control my hammer and it can move on its own. It just doesn't get the thrown attack, so it could be like a melee hit. Yeah, I guess that's it. I will move a little bit closer so that if I have to go retrieve my hammer, I'll move like right behind Shaft, like 10 feet up.
All right, Shakara.
I will use Buttercup to hoof attack the orc next to me. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to Alpha! And I will nod to Clash. Do it! And Buttercup gets 21 to hit, 12 points of damage. Oh wait, she would get the +4 too, wouldn't she, from my aura? So that's
Yeah.
16.
Okay,
16
wow.
points of damage with the hooves.
Is Buttercup attempting to kill?
No, knock him out.
Okay. You rear up with Buttercup, and she just flings her hoof out, catching this orc in the chin, and it just drops like a sack of potatoes. Unconscious.
And I will move a little closer to where Ulfa is, but not out of range of the second orc that's standing there.
Okay, Clash continues to get the catatonic orcs away from the fire. And you see me he's easily picking orcs up with one arm and lifting them and carrying them to safety. Ulfa charges Clash, raising her maul against him. 2 swipes. Much better than how she fared against Shakara for an 18 and a 21.
We all see this, yeah?
You all see Ulfa charge Clash. Oh, wow. That was a good job, Ulfa. Ulfa dealing 28 bludgeoning to Clash with her swipes.
Oh, what are you doing?
Sounds of battle still picking up and emanating across this little clearing here. It looks like Clash's forces, though, are quickly overwhelming, especially as the orcs fall catatonic from the Neogi death. They're easily subduing those orcs in their immediate vicinity. Back to the top is Shaft.
I'm gonna run up to Neogi number 4 that's miming at the wall and give him a taste of some scimitars. Okay, so the first attack is a 27 to hit. It's 21 points of damage. Second attack, 25 to hit, 16 points of damage.
And your second attack catches it as it's in its mime routine and just slicing off its little pedipalp hands, killing it.
Okay, I would take it, cut its head clean off and sort of throw it out over towards Clash and Ulfa. Was quite a distance away, but do I notice anything with the other orcs when I kill this last Neogi that we can see?
Yes, you do see the two above you, which you can just make out on the edge above this cave entrance that Hork has engaged with. They drop their weapons. There are still about 4 orcs out here operating, like still fighting. So not all of the orcs have been subdued from killing these 4 Neogi.
That's concerning.
Let's see. Where are those orcs that are still fighting? Are they... Because I still have movement left. I'm going to move towards wherever they are.
So you have a collection of 2 of them about 15 feet away from you, about southeast from the cave there.
Okay. I'm going to move up next to both of them then for finish my movement.
All right, Falzern.
Would Falzern have heard or seen Ulfa attack?
Yes, you for sure heard Clash cry out and say her name, and you see that they're squaring off now.
Oh boy. Wall of Force would be really helpful right now.
Please don't drop concentration on that.
Bigby's Hand would also be helpful, but it's also a control spell, and I'm out of spell slots for 5th level spells anyway. You know what?
Set more forest on fire with your flaming sphere.
I will cast another spell, which I haven't used in a long time instead. Guiding Bolt. That is a 22 to hit. 11 points of radiant damage. And then moving forward, the next attack roll made against that target before the end of my next turn has advantage against them. They'll be sort of enveloped in a bit of a mystical dim light that glitters around them.
Did you want to move, or are you going to come back down now? Because that's a ranged spell, right? You have the range to cast it from where you want.
I will come a bit further down. I don't know that there's a need for me to be so high and precarious in the air, but I'm still I want to remain sort of out of reach of if Ulfa were to swing at me.
All right. Mia.
I guess I'll just use my movement to go pick up my hammer. Stepping over the squishy, headless Neogi body. And I'm pretty close to Shaft, but I trust him to be able to subdue some orcs, and I'm gonna target Ulfa because I don't like what's happening, and Clash needs to be protected at all costs. Although I think he can hold his own in that armor, so I am gonna throw my hammer at Ulfa. 23 to hit.
Yes, definitely.
So that's 19 damage, and I'm gonna choose to push her back 10 feet toward Shakara. Since we were talking about this just for the listener, we were talking about this off mic, but my hammer does lightning damage, and I can always choose to push back large creatures or smaller. Haven't been doing that, but I need to start thinking about it.
Okay, well done. Your hammer flies out at Ulfa. I mean, Ulfa just has her maul raised above Clash, and it just punches into her chest, zapping her and blasting her back. She slides on her heels in the snow towards Shakara. And it is your turn.
I will move Buttercup in between Clash and Ulfa and have her rear back like she is going to hoof attack Ulfa, but then miss, in quotes.
Can you all right, roll me roll me a performance check. I'm gonna assume that you can. I mean, you know how to ride Buttercup. Buttercup responds, so you want to. We'll avoid the animal handling, but roll me a performance.
That is 8.
All right, the rest of the party can roll me an insight check versus that performance.
Nat 20. It's a 29 for Mia.
12 for Shaft.
14 for Falsey.
Okay, so the rest of the party, like, you just saw Buttercup wallop an orc, and it's the difference between a full swing and a slap. You know what I mean? Like, of what Buttercup has done here. Is that everything?
That's all I'm gonna do.
Okay. Shaft and Mia, from behind you in the cave, from the darkness within it, a huge figure just comes up, and you hear another much louder bonk as a giant smacks into this wall of forest. And you see that it is a stone giant, and around its chest it has what looks like a harness, and there's a rope with like a hook on the end of it, kind of drags in the ground behind him.
And that's our show. If you're not already, be sure to follow us at Incorrigible Par on Twitter, Incorrigible Party on Instagram and Facebook, and you can go to incorrigibleparty.com for world lore and PC information, and we've recently started adding some maps there as well. Incorrigible Party is generously sponsored and made possible by Critical Hit Design. For any of your design needs, visit criticalhitdesign.com. All ambient sound and music is provided by Tabletop Audio, and our intro and outro music was created by Josh Jarvis. You can reach him at jamesmercymusic@gmail.com. Happy adventuring!